I missed Friday's Trevor Report. I knew I'd miss Friday's Trevor Report. I knew there'd be a lot of things going on. And a lot of things did go on. The problem is the things that went on were just incredibly petty and boring. Welcome back to the Trevor Report, I guess, where my democracy keeps moving me more and more towards monarchy because my God, there's so much incompetency. Let's start with the incompetency from FTX. Now, FTX, I guess, was a crypto management firm, like a stock exchange, but for crypto. Coinbase is very similar. Pionex is very similar. There's a lot of crypto exchanges, but the thing that separates FTX from all the rest is that FTX does what the American dollar does, which is called fractional reserve banking, and basically we print money that we don't have so that banks can not go broke. And then when the banks go broke, we, the people in the democracy, end up paying for a bunch of they end up paying the banks to not be broke anymore, and we don't get a dime. This is what happened in 2008, or sorry, 2010, where the Obama administration, again from the party of democracy, bailed out all the big banks, and the regular people got absolutely nothing because democracy is a scam. At least the way that, at least in the sort of liberal democracy enlightenment sense. Okay, it's devolved into nothing more than, well, so long as the people vote, then based on the result, we could do whatever we want. Also, everyone lives in regions, and some regions have an advantage over others, ballot harvesting, etc. Okay? The liberal democracy is so incredibly undemocratic. Like, yes, there are democratized institutions, but it is far from the highlight of the Roman Republic, or sorry, the golden age that is the Roman Republic, or the sort of highlight of the Athens city-state. Okay, this is hardly a comparison. Okay, like there's something very, 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 very wrong with the way we run things, and I'm going to be proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that something is very, very wrong on this Trevor Report. But before I get started, make sure to click the support link in my bio to help support the Trevor Report, keep it going, to help support the news network to keep it going. I have a link to an affiliate program where I literally pay people to help me take down the corporate press. Okay, so do it, sign up, become an affiliate marketer. Okay, I have about 30 affiliate marketers on the thing right now. I'd like to get that number up to about 100, 200, okay? And it's literally, you refer people to the Acropolis News membership, you get a portion of the pie on each sale, and then people get their news from an independent source, me, and they can get some philosophical content. Right now I'm going over, I'm doing a 4-part series on trying to get a definition of the non-doctrinal philosophy of conservatism. I have a definition. I'm just spending the next 4 parts proving that definition with various things. But anyway, let's jump right on into it. FTX had this fiat currency on it called the FTX coin, and it highly encouraged that people bought it. I took one look at FTX. I saw all the, anything that has that many celebrities advertising for it, stay away. Stay away. Celebrities exist essentially, unless you become a celebrity through the sort of dissident means, I don't know, Tom McDonald, me in the next few years, things like that. Okay, the second one is a joke, maybe, but you get the point. Okay, and Fox News talked about this too. There's a class action lawsuit against FTX that includes these celebrities, which fine, whatever. I don't care. I literally don't care. The only problem that I have with this is that this is going to cause a government regulation of the crypto market. And with government regulation comes incompetence and stupidity. What the government regulation is going to do is literally going to put its thumb on the scale for cryptocurrencies in the United States. And what that essentially means is they are going to try to regulate crypto into oblivion in order to prop up the petrodollar. And it's not going to work. Bitcoin alone has already replaced, has even with it tanking the way it has been tanking, it has still completely replaced the U.S. dollar in terms of the world currency. Bitcoin has a lot more trust in it than the U.S. dollar, and the only reason the U.S. dollar has the trust that it has is because of videos like this, okay? And it's also because people are putting their money into it, because you should have your hand in more than one market, in more than one type of currency, because not all currencies last forever. We're not using the Roman currency now, are we? Just saying. But this video from 2013, I highly recommend people watch it. It's got some distinguished British gentlemen talking about how all the banks are broke, and how the banks lend money they don't have to other people, and that there's no deposit guarantee in a lot of the banks because the banks don't have the money. And so the point I'm trying to make is that FTX fell to the floor, completely crumbled, because FTX was operating essentially as a what's the term again? I literally just forgot it. Was acting as a sort of fractional reserve banking institution for crypto. And then there's all this stuff about allegedly. I'm not gonna source this because I've heard this and I don't care to source it. But apparently, like, he was having like like the entire company was being run by like 20 people, and they were all having like orgies with one another and stuff. It's just, oh god, dude, ugh. But there are other crypto exchanges that don't have a bunch of celebrities on their front page, and that work better. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like, obviously, don't spend anything that you're not willing to lose. Is basic investment advice. I don't like giving economic advice, so I won't. This is political advice. There are plenty of crypto exchanges that are not funnels for Democrat Party embezzlement. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, but let's continue. Brazil's fifth attempt at a republic, or sixth attempt, whichever one, is not going very well. It's not going very well at all. Now, it's going very well for the people. It seems, who have consistently gotten millions upon millions upon millions of people on these protests. It is like, so many people are sharing just where they are in the protest on Getter. 4 weeks now, you could not scroll around on Vision without seeing tens of thousands of I'm not gonna say Brazilian people of Brazil just protesting, dancing a little bit, trying to keep their spirits up. I didn't know women from Brazil were like sevens, like all of them. Oh well, but that's just the way it is. Okay, that's just the way it is, because, and I've said this before, all power is force, okay? And And because all power is force, that means it doesn't matter how a government exercises power, because at the end of the day, no matter what, a government is always exercising force against people. So this is sort of, and again, because every single form of government has its problems. One of the problems with democracy is that elections turn into small-scale tribalist wars, and then these small-scale tribalist wars get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until you have civil wars. Brazil is no secret to this. Again, they're on their 5th or 6th attempt at a republic, and presumably their 7th now. The U.S. has never been at peace, ever. Well, it was at peace under the Trump administration, but relative peace compared to before. But and it just sort of seems like every once in a while a country that has more democratized institutions than I don't want to say oligarchical, but look, all I'm saying is the reason so much political willpower, which I realize I just, under my own framing, I just said power, willpower, but you get the point I'm trying to make. There's so much, I'll just say it, will politics that the people have to engage in, because it's just getting to a point. And then I saw this stream. I caught about half of it while I was doing other things. They have this chick from Brazil on here, and they're talking about like leftist indoctrinations in schools and like their voting machines and stuff like that, and how they have a period where they do one count thing, and then they wait a little bit, and then they start counting again, and they do all of these very, very familiar things, these sort of election fortification things. And it just sort of gets to a point where you just sort of realize that no one actually believes in democracy, at least not for the federal branch, because every federal branch in Western liberal democracy, honestly, well, I actually don't know of an exception to this rule anywhere. Okay, the federal government in every single Western liberal democracy just has so much power. So what happens is it just keeps escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating, and it's just everyone who just has a purely Enlightenment mindset, or worse, the sort of post-Enlightenment framework that socialists, communists, National Socialists, and fascists have, where it's just absolutely abysmal takes. Now, I didn't get any takes from National Socialists or fascists, because I don't know any National Socialist commentators or any fascist commentators. Like, thankfully, those branches of cancer have been effectively canceled out. But Vosh is close enough, I guess. Now, he put out a short, because remember, Vosh is an intellectual, which means nuance. And in this short, he basically said that Republicans don't like mail-in voting because they're racists or something, and they want to disenfranchise voters. Now, he acts like this intellectual, but he would know that republicanism, American republicanism, is an Enlightenment philosophy, so they wouldn't disenfranchise voters. Also, Republicans aren't the party of racial consciousness, and they never have been, so they wouldn't discriminate on the basis of race. And there's just all of this nonsense. But here's what I've been saying before. There are too many people in Western liberal democracy who don't just believe but act upon this belief. They believe that democracy is when we win, you lose. This is going to get clipped. They believe that democracy is simply we win, you lose. And if you have anything else to say about it, you're evil, and we will deprive you from equal access to the public square. And it just gets to a point where if the federal government has so much power, then maybe it shouldn't be up to the whim of elections. Perhaps the federal government, regardless of the Western liberal democracy, should have a monarchical structure. Why not? Why not? The situation would be a lot better, especially in the United States, because that means all of the remaining elections would be local elections. Your governor, your senator, your congressman, your state and local congressmen and senators, things like that. Like on the local level, there will be the politicking, okay, and then the monarch. Okay, when a Supreme Court member dies, the monarch appoints someone to the Supreme Court. It means that everyone's local elections and local politics will matter far more, and because everyone isn't focused on the result of one election where people are just waiting to figure out, let me use the federal government against my enemies. This is just no, sorry. And we can continue this belief further. Recall the secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election by Time magazine, in which the forces of labor united with the forces of capital in order to ensure the proper outcome of the 2020 presidential elections. It's like, okay. And so there's that. And then there's the open and blatant discrimination of half the electorate, because Banana Republic. Trump is banned. Who's next? Tech giants must not treat their crackdown of president's social accounts as an edge case. The social web should be different now. It happened slowly and then all at once. After years of sparring, the internet's most powerful moderators deplatformed their most famous troll, the President of the United States. Facebook has blocked Donald Trump's account indefinitely. So have Snapchat, Twitch, Shopify, even one of the Trump's campaign email providers was cut off. They took his bank, they took all this stuff. And it just gets to a point where if the nation's apparatus is so powerful that it makes billionaires the underdogs, it needs to be cut down a little bit. Okay? And all I'm saying is that if the federal government became something where how am I going to put this? If the federal branch of government became something traditional, okay, that where it was passed down, it wouldn't be great, it wouldn't be perfect, because again, no system is perfect, but at the very least, we wouldn't have this, okay? Some things are better democratized, and other things aren't, okay? And the federal government has too much power to be democratized, but we gotta move on, okay? Like, abandon Silicon Valley, just get rid of it. Like, it's awful. Trust me, there's a better way of going about social media. Click the link in my bio, by the way, to become 100% censor-proof and learn how you can turn your 100% censor-proof social media into a business, okay, that makes you $1,000 a month passive income. Okay, it'll take a couple months or whatever, but that's how it goes. Anyway, hackers bribed Meta employees to access users' accounts. Report, because don't trust Meta with your internet safety. More than 24 Meta employees and contractors have faced disciplinary measures, including termination for allegedly taking bribes to give hackers access to users' accounts, among other inappropriate actions, the Wall Street Journal reported Thursday, citing anonymous sources and documents obtained by the outlet. In some cases, bribes exceeded thousands of dollars and gave hackers access to the very system that was intended to help users recover accounts from them, known as Oops, according to Wall Street Journal. In addition to Meta's own Employees contracted security guards at their buildings also took advantage of their access to users' accounts, and oops. But here's the thing. I'm just gonna leave this out in the open. There's a Twitch streamer reveals creepy grooming messages from big Twitch streamers when she was in school, and it's just Silicon Valley is just an awful place. It's an awful place filled with controlled by awful people, and they engage in their awfulness to be as incredibly vindictive and vile as possible at the expense of everyone else. And then we get to let's see. And then we get to this with YouTube. Are we ready for a new world order by the official World Government Summit YouTube account? And then YouTube fact-checked it. Context: the New World Order is a conspiracy theory which hypothesizes a secret emerging totalitarian world government. And then the first 10 seconds say,
Your Excellency, are you ready for a new world order?
and then there's that. And then the guy who responds is like, well, I would be, but there's a bunch of barbarians that believe in, like, sovereignty for nations, and it's just not 21st century. It's 19th century thinking. It's like, oh god, like, look, I'm just gonna say it. I'm 20 minutes in, whatever. Fuck these people. Screw these people. These people suck. These people can kiss my ass. I hate these people. These people are deceitful, and I don't like deceit. But anyway, let's continue. Donald Trump says he has no reason to return to Twitter after being reinstated. Yeah, anyone who gets their account back, just again, this is the same principle with the federal government. Okay. Twitter needs to be cut down a size. Now, they're losing $4 million a day, and they're under new management, as it were. So perhaps things will get better at YouTube. But it will never... But the fact that this institution was used as a weapon to discriminate against people on the basis of religion and politics, and in a lot of cases, people's skin color as well. People were given unfair advantages for having the correct skin color, and so forth. It just gets to a point where it's just like, no, I don't want to be in this institution that willfully engaged in this evil for such a long time. Okay, Twitter in this instance is, in terms of discrimination, is far worse than every other institution. Like, yes, YouTube and Facebook have put their thumbs on the scale a little bit, but Twitter puts like a morbidly obese corpse on their side of the scale, you know. And now that that's just been lifted, okay, and the scale is even-ish. You know, like people on the left are freaking out. It's like, oh, whoa, whoa. Like there's this one tweet where someone reported a Donald Trump tweet that came back, because when his account came back, a bunch of his old tweets came back, and people are just retweeting a bunch of things. He said, oh, I can't believe Trump said this or whatever. I don't even have a Twitter account. But the problem is, when it comes to public institutions and public discourse, okay, Twitter has their thumb so far up everyone's ass that it has this level of importance that it frankly shouldn't have. Okay, and then there's Elon Musk reinstates Donald Trump's Twitter account after asking users to vote. Okay, this is merely lip service. He's not reinstating Alex Jones, and even Alex Jones is like, look, let's wait a little bit, okay? Now, keep in mind, I've been ragging on what Elon Musk is doing. I've given some positive things. I've said some negative things about Elon Musk. In fact, when this whole thing first broke down, and according to my Getter analytics, it's my most viewed video currently on Getter, was that I forget what it was titled, and honestly, I don't care. All previous reports linked down below in the description, as always, etc. But the point I was trying to make in that video is there's something wrong with the core of Twitter as a culture. Now, if you fire something to like 90% of the staff, then yes, perhaps. But I'm just at this point where I'm looking at all of the, I guess I'll just call it the barbarous way of doing social media, where you have where you use one microblogging service, one personal profile, one sort of like personal profile portfolio sort of social media like Facebook and Instagram, and then one video distribution video distribution platform, YouTube, and then one live stream institution, Twitch. Okay, now don't get me wrong, that's 4 social medias. That's a lot. That's a lot for one. That's a lot for one person. It's part of the reason why my social media services business offers social media management, by the way. But like, here's what I do. I have something to the tune of 8 corporate profiles on Getter for the Acropolis News stuff that I manage all myself. Then I have 7 or 8 personal social media profiles that I use. That's somewhere between 16 and 15 social media profiles, or 14, 15, 16. I haven't actually, probably should count it, but you get the point. I might end up deleting the Acropolis News Instagram profile. I just don't really care about using it like at all, But that's where I'm at with that. And so I look at the way I do social media, where because I put the Trevor Report alone on the website and all this stuff, with all of the places I distribute the Trevor Report, okay, I get hundreds to thousands of views on each Trevor Report, regardless of following. Okay, my YouTube's been throttled a little bit because monarchist is. I'll take it. It's fine. It's whatever. Okay, but my Rumble and my Odyssey have been growing at very similar rates. I do have more views on Odyssey than they do on Rumble, even though I've been on Rumble longer, but it's fine. It's whatever. Then I have the, whatever. Look, the point I'm trying to make is that I don't see why in the present why you would care. Trump doesn't have to go to an institution where the thumbs on the scale against him, because he built his own institution where, granted, the thumb is on the scale for him. And this all harbors back to like this thing. Tim Pool did a thing on his show, and he said basically, I'm not gonna quote him. It's right in the beginning of the video. See it on screen. Click up a link down below in the description. Blah blah blah. Okay, but what he said in this right in the beginning, and I just knew I had to talk about it. He talks about how it's not about the fact that his friends were banned. It's the fact that the social media stuff isn't fair for politics, one side or the other. And I'm like, dude, if you want fair politics, okay, Getter is fair. Okay, Getter is a better Twitter. Okay, there are people on the left on here. There are people on the right on here. The people on the left, don't get me wrong, they do a lot of trolling. There are people on the right that do a lot of trolling, and they seem to be troll bots, like about 10% of them, and they seem to just be like attacking each other, So it's whatever, left-wing trolls, right-wing trolls, basically kissing cousins. It is what it is. But if you want something fair, okay, now don't get me wrong. Getter has the exact same terms of service as Twitter. Now that might have changed since Elon Musk's takeover, but when I looked into it and I compared the two, it's effectively the same terms of service. But the thing is, Getter enforces it fairly and honestly and with integrity. So if you want that, Tim, all you got to do. And I'm not expecting I'm not expecting Tim Pool to see this, by the way. But if you want fair and balanced social media, Getter is fair. You haven't posted since the 19th of January. You haven't, okay, like, okay, Getter isn't just a microblogging site. Okay, when you post your Instagram, when you post your reels on your Timcast thing and your YouTube shorts or whatever, okay, there's a third place you can distribute them called Vision. Okay, half of Getter's features didn't exist until like Instagram is basically a mix between, especially since the pin post feature came out, it is a mix between Twitter and Instagram, where the thumb isn't on the scales. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely more people on the right on Getter than people on the left, but all people have to do is vote with their wallet. It's so stupid. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm just going to leave it at that. Name's Trevor Brown. You just watch the Trevor Report. Click the link tree down below in the description that I was forced to make because Linktree banned my previous link tree for opposing black nationalism. So I made my new one. It's down below in the description. Yada, yada, yada. Hasta luego.